New York has sued Valve. This is very annoying for me to see this. Extremely annoying to see. Of course they're suing. This is after, by the way, this is after Valve has won the lawsuit against the Rothschild company that was a patent troll company.
On February 25th, 2026, the multi-billion-dollar world of Counter-Strike skins had a major problem. New York Attorney General Letitia James has officially filed a massive lawsuit against
Valve. I thought
Valve.
Trump was going to arrest her. Whatever happened to that?
The state of New York is alleging that Valve is running a slot machine-like operation that has lured millions of teenagers into illegal, unregulated gambling in the world.
They're kind of right. I mean, like, CSGO is a slot machine gambling thing, but the problem is that I don't want to see regulations for CSGO gambling when you don't have regulations for Polymarket and Kalshi, when you don't have regulations for other types of gambling. So how is it that these other companies can operate with basically impunity, but for some reason you're going to go after Steam uniquely? And if anything, I would say that Steam is the least like that, because at least the items that you get have value and they can be resold. That's a big fucking difference than betting and then having your money be vaporized.
Words of the Attorney General herself, Valve has made billions of dollars by letting children and adults alike illegally gamble for the chance to win valuable virtual prizes. These features are addictive, harmful, and illegal if New York wins.
See, she's a retard, and this is painting with such a broad brush that it would apply to about 40% of every single video game if you went after them on that context. Like, every gacha game would be categorized that way. FIFA would be categorized that way. Like, every game that had a loot box, period, would be categorized that way. They're like Pokemon cards, exactly. Like, this is them going after Valve. I don't know why they're doing this for them, especially. Because I don't see the logic that, like, how is it that Polymarket and Kalshi aren't your focus and Valve is instead? Which, by the way, my opinion is that neither should be the focus. If people want to gamble their money away, that's natural selection. You're an idiot, and that's what you get.
This case, the multi-billion-dollar skin economy could be changed forever. Today, we are breaking down the official filing, the smoking gun evidence the state is using, and why your inventory might be in the crosshairs. To understand why this lawsuit is different from the ones Valve beat in the past, we have to look at how the OAG is defining the game. They aren't calling it a tactical shooter anymore. In Valve's most popular game, the process resembles a slot machine with an animated spinning wheel that eventually rests on a selected item.
It's not a spinning wheel, number one. It's like a ticker line. And number two, that's not even true to begin with. It's a shooter game that has this as a component that some people do. It's just so dishonest. It's unbelievable.
New York argues that Valve's loot boxes violate the state's gambling laws because they meet the 3 criteria for gambling.
What's
price,
the criteria?
Chance, and prize.
Okay, so then what about Pokemon cards? If those are your only 3 criteria, what about baseball cards? What about Genshin Impact? Like, what about everything else? Like, this is just such a bad argument. It doesn't even make sense.
You pay for a key, which is the price. The item is determined by an algorithm, the chance, and the result is a virtual item with significant value, which is the prize. But here is where it gets dangerous for Valve. In the past, Valve argued skins weren't money. New York, though, is firing back by pointing to the June 2024 sale of a single AK-47 skin for over $1 million. Quote from the filing, the randomly selected virtual items have no in-game functionality, but
it's not true. They have functionality. You can use them.
Can be sold online for money, with one item reportedly being sold for more than $1 million. By highlighting that these items have zero functional use but massive cash value, the state is stripping away the "it's just a game" cosmetic defense.
That's true. That is true.
They are painting these items as digital casino chips. And more interestingly, Valve seems to have seen the writing on the wall. Over the past year, we've seen Valve quietly making systematic changes to their case systems and reward structures, like the introduction of the Armory or even the Genesis terminal. These moves appear to be a strategic attempt to move away from the loot box model and towards a more transparent system. It looks like Valve has been trying to future-proof their revenue because they knew a legal problem was inevitable. But according to New York, these changes are just too little, too late. For years, Valve's get-out-of-jail-free card was the Steam community market. They claimed that because you couldn't cash out directly to a bank account from Steam, it wasn't real gambling. New York is actually calling bull on that. The lawsuit alleges that Valve doesn't just allow third-party sites, it facilitates them. The OAG...
the problem that I have with this is that it's that you have, like, how is it that you can have sports betting in the NBA games and you have children watching the NBA games? You can have Polymarket and Kalshi that's being advertised alongside CNN, but you can't sell and buy AK-47s that are purple? Like, there's no logic here, right? There's no consistency. Because if you had consistency, you would have all three of these things would either be legal or illegal. Like, that's it.
Investigation
Isn't it speeding logic? Well, if the government's not going after this, like, yeah, I think it is. You could say that it's speeding logic, that, oh, well, just because they're doing it wrong doesn't mean other people aren't too. Yeah, that's fine. But do you really think this is being done in good faith? I mean, I don't think it's being done in good faith. Absolutely not.
That Valve facilitates...
There's also a degree of scope. Like, what do you think is bigger? Like the CSGO market or Poly market or sports betting? Like, you're going after a molehill and you're ignoring the mountain.
Even assist these third-party marketplaces in their operations. The state argues that by allowing users to connect their Valve accounts to external sites where items are sold directly for cash, Valve is essentially providing the infrastructure for a global, unregulated casino.
Yeah.
Attorney General James states the high value of Counter-Strike's rare skins and the ease of liquidating items through third-party marketplaces.
I hate to say this, but this is probably, like, this does not look good for Valve. If they go after this, there's a good chance they might lose on this.
Have made Valve's virtual items an attractive target for thieves. She's linking the gambling to a broader cycle of crime, including the hundreds of thousands of support requests Valve receives from users being hacked or scammed. In the eyes of the law, if the system is so liquid that you can turn a skin into rent money in just a few minutes, it's seen as a currency, and if it's a currency, that means it would be gambling. But you might be wondering, why is New York doing this now? And it seems to be a part of their much larger war on addictive tech. The lawsuit leans heavily on the protection of minors. Research cited in the filing shows that children who are introduced to gambling are 4 times more likely to develop a gambling problem later in life than those who are not.
That's the exact reason why they keep trying to find new avenues to engage children into gambling. It's because if you can get them hooked early, then you can get them addicted for a long period of time. Actually support this 100%. I don't like the fact that you guys know how I feel about loot boxes and everything. Like, I think that the video game industry would be better without loot boxes and without gacha. It would be. It would just be it would be more player friendly, and it would be a better industry. But there are 2 factors that I think come into that. Number one is, why is it that a user is not able to make a decision with their money, right? You have 2 consenting adults that are choosing to do something with their money and with their service. Why is it that you have a legal right to tell them no? I think that's a huge factor. And number two, I find this to just be incredibly circumstantial, considering the amount of protections for sports betting in the last 7 years have just gone away and away and away. And now you have prediction markets coming into the market as well that are also effectively gambling, and that's okay with them. So it doesn't make sense to me that you would go after Valve with this comparatively small market of CSGO stuff, and this is a worldwide market, but you wouldn't go after sports betting, which is being distributed to children constantly through places like ESPN and also through FIFA in some cases, right? And I don't know about FIFA as much, to be fair, and or NBA, right, or anywhere else. And you're not going after them, and you're also not going after prediction markets, and you're not regulating them first. It seems like there's this like circumstantial, opportunistic, or there's something at play here that I don't understand. You see what I'm saying here? That's why I don't like it. They're going after gaming as a whole? Yeah.
AG's office claims Valve is intentionally luring teenagers. Young users with limited funds can be enticed to start gambling through loot boxes in the hopes of obtaining a virtual item that they believe will enhance their status in the game's virtual world.
That's true.
Letitia James has already been aggressive, leading fights against Meta and TikTok for addictive feeds. This Valve lawsuit just seems like the next step, but she didn't stop at gambling. The Attorney General also took a shot at the content of the game.
And I'm going to say also, like, this is going to be maybe like a big picture opinion, but I really don't like the idea that this stuff is being regulated and disallowed when the state runs lotteries. I don't like that. I don't. I think it's just like it's just like it's so obviously transparently. If this is bad, it would be bad when everybody does it. Like, I see people, like, I go to the gas station, like, there's a lot of people that are doing gambling, like, you know, both of the gas stations that I go to regularly, maybe, like, the top, like, probably 5, you know, like, 3 out of those 5, there are people gambling at those gas stations non-fucking stop. They're doing this all the time. And so the idea that this is some sort of, like, it's like if you're gambling, I don't view it as like a morally good thing, regardless of whether it's regulated or it's sanctioned by the state or not. I think that, like, if you die and you talk to Saint Peter or Jesus or Allah, you know, whenever you go to fucking heaven and you say, oh, well, I was only promoting gambling for, you know, the state, and it wasn't for like a private company. Like, I don't think that any of them would say, oh, okay, understandable, please come into heaven now. Like, it's very clearly a morally bad thing to do, regardless of, you know, whether it's sanctioned by the government or not. And so I don't really see, like, I don't see them having like a moral or ethical foundation to go after these gambling companies. I don't at all. And like, maybe this is unfair for me to say, but, or it's like too high-minded or, you know, like virtue signally for me to say this, but like, that's actually what my opinion on it is. Like, I think it's a universally, like, it's an indisputably morally bad thing to do that they're creating shades of gray in that don't actually exist.
Valve's promotion of games that glorify violence and guns helps fuel the dangerous epidemic of gun violence, particularly among young gamers who can become
It's 2004 again.
To grave violence before their
And this is another problem that I have, is that these people are approaching it with like such a stupid perspective. To the extent that they get anything right, it's purely a coincidence.
Are fully developed.
That's what I think.
So while this legal case is about gambling, they are also pushing harm. This makes the lawsuit much harder to settle quickly. They want disgorgement of ill-gotten gains and a permanent stop to these features. So if you're a CS2 player, trader, or just someone who just follows Valve, this is where you might be wondering, well, what actually happens next? And while we could see regional locking, we've already seen this in places like Belgium and the Netherlands, where Valve might be forced to...
Belgium and the Netherlands have like they have the strictest loot box rules in any Western country. I'm not familiar with other countries like China and like what their rules are, but I know inside of the Western countries, it's Belgium and the Netherlands that are the most aggressive and most consumer friendly with these practices.
stable case openings entirely for New York. Depending on how serious this gets and how Valve takes it, if the court finds that third-party sites are facilitated by Valve, they may be forced to adjust the API that allows those sites to function. But also, if New York wins, we could see other states like California or Illinois follow up.
Well, you're going to see every company change their policies based off of it. It's the same as like how every website now bans you for being under 13. It's because of a legal requirement for not following and collecting data on people under 13. It's called COPPA.
For over 10 years, Valve has operated in a legal gray area, but the state of New York is no longer playing games. Attorney General James is seeking to permanently stop Valve from continuing to promote illegal gambling in its games and to pay disgorgement and fines. This is one of the most significant legal threats to Valve we have seen in a long time, and we could see some major changes because of it. As the Attorney General put it, illegal gambling can be harmful and lead to serious addiction problems.
I don't see how what I don't understand is that illegal and legal gambling are addictive. Like, it's like, you know, if you make illegal cigarettes or you are making moonshine that you're technically not allowed to do, and you become an alcoholic from that, like both of these people and the ones that become alcoholics from like liquor that you can buy at a store, they're both alcoholics. Like it's about state control. Exactly. Like I don't understand this.
My office is suing to stop Valve's illegal conduct and protect New Yorkers. But I want to hear from you. Do you think Valve is at fault here and could be hit with some serious consequences? If you want to stay updated on this brand new case against Valve, don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah, I watch Water CS2's videos a lot about Valve. He covers all the Valve stuff that happens. And like I can see like the problem, what makes me mad about this is that I know that they actually do have a point with this where like CSGO skins and everything. I mean, here's really the question, right? And I think everybody should be honest about this. Is CSGO skin case unboxings, is this gambling? I think absolutely it's gambling. It's not even a question whether it's gambling or not. It is 100% gambling. But even with that, that doesn't mean that, oh, wow, like if gambling is so bad, then why don't you go after sports gambling and also prediction markets? Like both of these are obviously way fucking bigger than CSGO. But, and then also, I also don't like the mindset that, because people might say, oh, well, this is for kids. Number one, Counter-Strike is an M-rated video game, which is 17 plus. So if you're not 17 or over, you shouldn't be playing it. Number two, do you really think that kids aren't watching ESPN? You really think that they don't see these prediction markets? Like, what is this? And I just feel like it's once again another example of them basically trying to, I think that they're trying to clear the board in order to avoid other companies that maybe they have closer ties to being accountable, or like with TCG stuff. Yeah, exactly. Someone said because the Rothschilds lost the case. Yeah, and that's another thing too, is that like this is kind of like an unspoken thing. Like this is getting into conspiracy territory. So, you know, like just be aware of that. How is it that they immediately lose this case with the Rothschilds and then right after that New York sues them? Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's just very coincidental. It's good timing, right? Win against the Rothschild, global power structure punchers back. Huh? Wait, what? What is this here? Epic CEO. I don't know what that is exactly. Wait till New York hears about Mojang. Yeah, exactly. Like, if you want to make a categorical ban on loot boxes, then I think that you have like an ethical foundation to do that under. But really, I mean, and you know, with Counter, I don't know, can you really make money opening these boxes, or is it kind of like gacha games where you're probably going to lose money if you get involved with it? I think you're wrong with comparing to Polymarket. Well, I don't think that I am, and here's the reason you can. I really don't know the answer to that. That's the truth. The reason why I think that it's not, it's the same thing is that you are wagering money and you are wagering some sort of collateral with an outcome that you can't control. And if the outcome happens in the way that you want it to, you get a huge payout. And if it doesn't, you get a much smaller payout. It's like trading cards. Yeah, or something like that, right? And just in general, like that's the way I feel about it.